So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this virtual volunteer fair run by GoVolHerts in July. We're actually getting a little bit of summer weather, so sorry to keep you from enjoying it. Anyway, today we're going to hear from 10 different organisations from in and around Hertfordshire. They're going to tell you a little bit about the volunteering roles that they have, and they're going to tell you what their organisation does as well, which is always nice to know, and what you could get out of volunteering for them. Because people have different reasons for volunteering. People who are retired, perhaps most the stereotypical volunteer, an old lady working in a charity shop, and that's fine. It gives older people something to do, something constructive to do, and that's fabulous. But for other people as well, some young people like to volunteer. It's something to put on their CV, get a bit of experience in different areas, find out where they might want to go in life. And for people in sort of like business sort of roles, I suppose you could say, becoming something like a charity trustee could really help boost their career skills. So loads of different reasons for volunteering: CV, skills, making new friends, and just feeling good about yourself and feeling good that you're helping out in your local community and maybe helping people less well off than yourself. So lots of reasons to volunteer and lots of volunteering roles. On GoVolHerts, we currently have nearly 400 different organisations from in and around Hertfordshire. Some of them are going to be large national organisations on a local level, and some of them are going to be much smaller grassroots charities who work at a really very local level. So a wide range, and I think we have about 650 current live opportunities. So I do like to think that there is something there for everyone. Today, we're going to hear from 10 different charities. We are going to hear from Central London Community Healthcare NHS Trust shortly, and then FoodCycle Luton, just down the road from us here in North Hertfordshire. We've got a slight change to the lineup because unfortunately one of our organisations, the presenter, is poorly, so hope he gets well soon. But at the last minute, fantastic Angela Bell has jumped in from Letchworth Garden Shed. So I'm looking forward to hearing from her. She's due to be followed by KEL Ministries and Eternity Community CIC. After them, we have Herts Domestic Abuse Helpline, Friends of Welwyn Care Homes, the Scouts, I think the St Albans branch specifically. We've got Isabel Hospice, Sue Ryder, and last but not least, Claire from Hertfordshire Health Walks, who operate all across Hertfordshire. Fantastic organisation there. So that's the organisations we're due to be hearing from today. I'm just going to share my screen and give you a quick whistle-stop tour of how to search for a role on GoVolHerts, if you bear with me. Okay, hopefully you can all see my screen. So I put this together a little while ago in an app called Scribe. So it just followed the steps I did rather than me trying to do it live going wrong. So this is how to find a gardening volunteer opportunity. So you don't have to look for a gardening opportunity, obviously, but this is just an example because I knew there were quite a few this sort of role on here. So first of all, we navigate to the GoVolHerts website and then click here in Browse Volunteering Opportunities. Now this is defaulted to Letchworth Garden City here, as you can see at the top. This is because when I did this, I was logged in my own account, and Letchworth Garden City is where I happen to live. So it will default if you've got an account to wherever your location is if you put your postcode in. Okay, I clicked in the search field, I typed gardening, and then you can change the distance. It did, at the time I did this, it defaulted to 25 miles away, which is quite a long way. I think now it's a slightly shorter distance, but you can change that to whatever you like. If you want something really local, or you're willing to travel a bit further for the sort of role you might like. So if you're not quite sure what sort of opportunity you want, you can click here. I click the I'm not sure, and it tells you what all these things mean. So we've got one-off roles, one-off flexible roles, short-term and long-term, which are reasonably obvious, but if you're not quite sure, it will tell you. And then any of these filters you can use or you can not use. it will still come up with something. Just depends how much you want to narrow something down. This would be filtering by cause. So you can see here the little icons, some of the different causes that you might want to use to narrow your search down. You can also search by activity, so the sort of thing you might want to do, something creative, something practical, some office work, trustee roles, all that sort of thing. So this is one of the opportunities that came up at Hitchin Youth Allotment. So I clicked through to that, and that will bring up more details about the opportunity, so you can have a read through, see if you think it will suit you. If you want to join the opportunity, there's a big pink button that says join. It doesn't hold you to anything by joining the event. You've not signed your life away, but if you click the join button, it will ask you, as we can see here, tell us a little bit about something yourself and why the opportunity appeals. So just put a few sentences in there, and that will go through to the volunteer coordinator at the organisation, and they can get back to you and take it from there, really. So I hope that's helped just give you a quick tour of the GoVolHerts site. Just going to stop the sharing. So that's enough from me for now, I think. So we're going to move straight into our presenters. And I did see that Eileen was here from Central London Community Healthcare NHS Trust. Are you there, Eileen?
She was, but I'm not seeing her now. I think she may had a problem. Maybe we should move to the next one, and then I'll try to contact her again.
Okay, so it looks like Eileen's lost her connection. So, Holly, I can see you're here. Are you able to jump in? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give a bit of a warning. My landlord decided today would be a lovely day to start sawing things in the garden. So if there's background noise, I apologise, but we'll see how it goes.
Thank you, Holly. Tell us all about your organisation and what sort of volunteers you're looking for.
So I work for FoodCycle. So we are a national charity. I look after all of the projects that happen in the east of England. So I look after particularly Luton, but a few others in my area. So what we do is we basically put on free community meals every week, and they're completely run by volunteers. So we collect surplus food from local supermarkets, and we'll then put together like a 3-course meal using that food and then serve it up to our guests. So that's kind of our model that we have. I do have a presentation which I can share if that works for you, so I can quickly go through it. If we can share it, I'll see what I can do. So then I can go into a bit more detail. Let's have a little look. Let me know if everybody, someone give me a nod or something if you can see.
Yes, I can see that.
Lovely, cool. So yeah, this is a little bit of context about what FoodCycle is all about. So at the moment we have 89 different meals that are across different towns and cities in England and Wales. And like I said, we pick up food either from local supermarkets, sometimes from allotments. Sometimes we have a sort of an agreement with a charity called FareShare, which some people might know about, where they come and deliver some food to us. And it's all about trying to bring people together over great food. So it's sort of encouraging conversations, tackling loneliness, but also being there to provide food for those people who need it or just want to come along to have a lovely experience with other people. So we're actually vegetarian, just mainly for sort of like legality reasons. It's much easier to store vegetables than it is meat and things like that. But it does make us very inclusive in terms of different cultures and things like that as well. So everybody is welcome to come along to us. So I'll give you a little bit of an idea about how the whole setup works for FoodCycle. We have 3 different types of volunteer roles. The first one is the food collector role. So we have a couple of people who will go to all of the different supermarkets that we pick up from every week. So in Luton, our project runs on a Tuesday. So on a Tuesday afternoon, they'll go around to the different shops around the town centre. They'll pick up lots of food, as you can see from this picture here. That's all been put aside for us to collect. And then they'll bring it back to our venue for our cooks to sort through. And then here we've got in the middle a lovely picture of my volunteer Jill, who is one of our cooking team. And they basically have a bit of like a ready, steady cook kind of job, in that they have to figure out what to cook with all of the ingredients that they get on the day. So there's not really any way to sort of plan. You have to be creative and make things up on the spot, which is one of the fun things about being on the cooking team. So they normally start around about 3:45, and they have until 6 o'clock to whip up a 3-course meal with all of the ingredients they have. So something that we get a lot is bananas. So there's Jill with a lovely banana cake that she's made there with the bananas that we've been donated. And yeah, it's a really fun sort of team role to have a go at. And then just before 6 o'clock, around about 5:30, we have our hosting team come in. And basically the hosting team are there to make our guests feel welcome. They make them lots of cups of teas, which Roy is demonstrating in our picture here. They serve the meals up to our guests. They have conversations with them, check in with them, because a lot of them come very regularly. And then they do a lot of the cleaning up afterwards as well. So once we've sort of set up everything with all of the tables, tablecloths, cutlery and stuff, then they go and wash it all up, clear it all away at the end of the session. So that's kind of how our little system works for FoodCycle volunteers. So I'll tell you a little bit more about what FoodCycle is like in Luton. So this is our cooking team on the left, and then a bit of a mixture of cooking and hosting team on the right here. So we're based over in Hightown Baptist Church in Luton. So we use their church hall space to put on our meal and their lovely kitchen. We are a secular charity, but we work a lot with local churches and community centres who very kindly offer us venues across sort of England and Wales. So this is where we have our one in Luton. This is a little bit of an overview of what Luton is like. So as I said, we run every Tuesday. We have a 6 o'clock start. We tend to have between about 40 to 50 guests come along. So we've grown over the past 2 years since it started up in Luton. When we sort of started off, we had about 20, 25, and then it's gradually grown over the last year up to about 50 people sometimes. So it's very popular. And yeah, it's a really lovely mixed group of people. We have lots of different ages and ethnicities. We have a mix of people who maybe are, coming to us because they have an emergency need, if they're homeless or in sort of challenging housing situations. We get a lot of people who maybe are new to the area and trying to figure out ways in which they can connect with people and sort of find food easily. And we also have lots of families come along as well, which is really lovely. The church often encourage people from their congregation or people that they've met to come along as well. So it's a very much kind of like communal space that we want to create for everyone. And then our meal itself is quite renowned for being quite creative. We're very colourful over in Luton with the things that we make. Our guests absolutely love custard. So everything has to have custard on top of it if you're making a dessert. And they're a very joyful, very kind of funny group at Luton. They're always sort of laughing and having a good time, which is one of the wonderful things about FoodCycle, really, that you make lots of friends, you get to work as a team, and you get to enjoy some lovely food as well if you're a volunteer. So to give you a bit of an idea of kind of like what the impact is if you were to come and volunteer with FoodCycle, this year so far we've served over 1,204 meals to people at our project, and we've saved over 3,264 kilograms of food. So all of that stuff would have gone to waste if we didn't go and pick it up and make something wonderful with it. We have a really lovely partnership with Good Gym. Some of their sort of key members are members of our cooking team, and they're very good at encouraging people to try it out, and are kind of core members of our kind of volunteer team. So there's a lovely opportunity to get to know some of the people who do Good Gym and all the wonderful things they do as well. And we're sort of part of what's called the Luton Food Planning Working Group. So we're all trying to work together as local organisations to support people in Luton who need some support with food, and encouraging people to find ways to look after themselves with the food that they eat, and healthy eating and stuff like that, which we're very keen to try and promote as well. And then just down at the bottom there, we've got some lovely little testimonials which have come from our guest survey that we did last year. So impact is potentially helping people feel a bit more connected to others if they're lonely, having lovely, great big meals, meeting friends, and then just feeling like there's people who you can meet and have a good experience with, is kind of what the impact is on our guests. And you can sort of be part of that too. We try and encourage our volunteers to come and sit and eat with our guests as well when they get the chance. So yeah. I thought I would see if anyone wanted to have a go at seeing if they could be a potential cooking volunteer. So I've got some ingredients up on the screen, and I wondered if anyone wanted to try and put in the chat box any ideas of some recipes that you could come up with using some of these items, just to see whether you've got the creative mind to come up with a menu for a FoodCycle meal. I'll give everybody like a minute to do some responses, and then I'll give you an example of what they've done in Luton before. Oh, yeah, I like that. A lentil dal. Yeah, we do try and do things that are a little bit more interesting at Luton as well. We like a curry. We do love a good stir fry there as well. We've got lots of noodles. Aubergine curry, yes, that would be lovely. Roast them all up. See if anybody else has any suggestions, and then I'll share what we decided to go with. Cucumber and tomato salad, yeah, nice and fresh. That sounds good. Yeah. I mean, often what we try and do is that we buy in anything that really is like a bulk thing, like pasta. We get our teas and coffees in so that we make sure that we've got enough for all of our guests. Things like tinned tomatoes, we often have to buy in because we don't get them donated as much. But all the fresh things are all the things that we get coming in. So that can also impact how we make decisions. If we know we've got quite a lot of like kidney beans to use up or chickpeas, we'll try and incorporate that in as well. Oh, Afghan biryani. I've never heard of that before, but I'll have to look it up afterwards and see what that's like. Oh, and a veggie tray bake. You can't go wrong with that. Put it all in, roast it all up. That's very much a go-to. So I'll share what my group decided to do with those. So what we had was a mango noodle salad. So we used up those mangoes and pepper and cucumber as a starter there. And then we did what we like to call the shepherdless pie or the shepherdess pie, some of the meals that I look after call it. So using up all those potatoes, and then again, sort of a bit like a veggie tray bake, that you put all the veggies that you want to in, and then kind of whip it up with a nice bit of mashed potato on top, and that always goes down well. Especially in the winter, we like to do like a soup as our starter, and then do something nice and warming as well. But it's nice when we do get things like some noodles in the summer. The guys at Luton have been known to do like avocado and egg on toast before as one of their starters when they've got enough eggs to go around and things like that, or frittatas if we've got eggs. So yeah, we'll try and push the boat out if we can, with different things, but sometimes you do have to just go with what you get given on that week, and it can vary quite a lot how much food we get. So that's kind of a bit of an idea of like what you might get up to if you're a FoodCycle volunteer. So I thought I would just do a little shout out as well, because I know obviously Luton's not actually in sort of Hertfordshire, it's just on the edge. And we don't have any FoodCycles in Hertfordshire, but we have quite a few that are not too far away from you guys. So if you're sort of more on the west side of the county, we've got a FoodCycle over in Aylesbury, which is looked after by my colleague Natalie. And then we've got one over on the sort of north end. So if you're in sort of Royston area, FoodCycle Cambridge might be your nearest one to go to as well. So I thought I'd shout out for those guys as well, so you're aware of those if you're not as close to Luton. And that's kind of it. We're particularly looking for some volunteer drivers, so that's up on the GoVolHerts website. But if you're interested in doing any of the roles, we would absolutely love to see you and come along and join us. Yeah, I think that's everything from me, but I'm wondering if there is any questions that anyone thinks of now that they might want to ask, but if not, I'll hand it over to whoever's next.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Holly. That's really interesting to find out about what your project does. It's great to help people. A lot of people are struggling, but you're also helping to reduce waste food from supermarkets. And if anyone is, frustrated that they never got on Ready Steady Cook, definitely a thing for them to do. Yeah, so some real creativity in coming up with those meals. And I know my granddad would have liked everything with custard on it. He was very, very keen on custard. So hopefully Tatiana has or will post the link to the GoVolHerts page for FoodCycle in the chat. So if that's something that interests you, please do get in touch. It sounds like an awful lot of fun as well as doing some good. And that's sort of a role that you would like to do. I think Tatiana's got some great ideas for cooking, so maybe we'll see her done. Okay, as I said, the first organisation we were hoping to hear from was the NHS Trust. Eileen has messaged us while Holly was presenting, saying her computer has just decided to die on her. So if she can rejoin us, she will. If not, we'll briefly look at their roles and we will post them in the chat. But in the meantime, I believe Angela is here. Could you stop sharing your screen, Holly? Is that okay? It's fine. I think we have Angela here from Letchworth Garden Shed, who has stepped in at the last minute to tell us about her organisation and what they do. I'm just looking. I'm sure I admitted Angela a minute ago. I hope we're not having one of those technical days where everyone's computer goes, oh, Angela, I can see you. Sorry. Let me just check if we have made you a host. Okay. So if you want to share your screen with us, Angela, please feel free to do that. And do tell us all about Letchworth Garden Shed and the volunteers that you are looking for. Need to unmute yourself. Let me unmute you. I think she's getting some technical help there. I don't know, while Angela's trying to sort her computer out, Letchworth Garden Shed is a project running, not surprisingly, in Letchworth, and they are a library of things. So rather than you going out and buying that hedge trimmer you might use once a year, you could go along to the library of things and perhaps borrow one instead. That's just one example of the many things they have. So a really, really great idea. And I think they've implemented well. They have a little shop in Leys Avenue in Letchworth. If anyone ever walks past that, say I live in Letchworth, so I frequently walk past and look to see what they've got there. Are you okay now, Angela? Have you got your sound and your presentation ready for us?
I think so. If you can hear me,
Yeah, I can hear
you
you
see
now.
my Yeah, so my present thing isn't going the way it should. Full screen. There we are. So
Yeah,
can
brilliant.
you
I'll
see
leave you to it
that
now.
big thing? Is it all good? Yeah, am I all good?
Yes.
Oh, I can't hear you. Am I all good? I can't tell whether you can hear me or not.
Hi, Angela. Yes, you're good.
Oh, terrific. Okay, so thanks so much for making time for our organisation today. We're Letchworth Garden Shed, and we're a library of things, which is kind of a new concept really across the country. There's about 40 of them elsewhere. And when we heard of the idea for a bunch of people in Letchworth, we just thought it was such a clever idea that we should have one in our own community. So we're a library of things. And you may be asking, what is a library of things? Well, essentially, it is what it sounds like. We lend out a wide range of items for a nominal fee. It's not a business. We're not for profit. We lend small things like cake tins and drill bits and stuff like that that you wouldn't normally be able to hire. And there's a much wider range of items that we lend out, things for parties, things for gardening, things for DIY. Essentially, we think of it as a way of sharing more as a community. The diagram you can see on the left, basically the idea is that rather than everybody buying and keeping their own drill, for example, and using it 10 minutes a year, collectively, we all share one. We don't have to store it or buy it, so everybody's better off. We think it's a great idea. We've seen it working across the country in different ways, and it's really good for the environment. As you can imagine, when people are borrowing more, they can buy less, which is just marvelous. It also means that you can cut back on clutter rather than buying a jet washer or pressure washer to do the patio. You can just, and then having to store it, they're big, they're bulky. You can just come and borrow ours. And I think one thing that's really important to us is that it really enriches the lives of people in the community, regardless of their financial situation. So if you're having hard times, you can still borrow 8 garden games. Our garden games are £1 each, maybe the pop-up gazebo, maybe even the pizza oven, and put on a nice celebration for your family. You can get the chores done. Those things are no longer sort of restricted. So it's really quite rewarding. So it took a long time for us to get all the prep done, but we finally opened on the 2nd of August last year. And this is our gorgeous premises right in the middle of Leys Avenue. We've been, well, technically the lower end, but we like to think of ourselves as in the middle of things. We've been really lucky. The Heritage Foundation have come on board and provided us with this lovely premises. And we think that it's one of the reasons we've been so successful in our first year. Next slide. Just as an example of this, we again did a lot of research, and based on libraries of things in similarly sized towns in their first years, we set a goal of 210 members in our first 12 months. And we were really focused on achieving this. Everything was sort of based around it. And we're currently a couple of weeks away from our first birthday. We now have 800 members. As you can see with this chart, everything's, excuse me, just gone up and up and up. And not just in terms of members, the stock has expanded. We open with 120 items available to borrow. And we currently have an amazing 580 things that we lend out. And it's really hard to explain just how wide the range is. It's been marvelous because people have been coming in and saying, actually, you know what, I would like to be able to borrow. And we've put it on our wish list, and then the community has responded. So most of the stock, I would say 95%, comes from individual donors. Again, it's that sharing as a community. But also we've had significant donations from local businesses, different councillors. It's been just wonderful. And this is something that we were hoping for, although honestly we thought this might happen in our second or third years. But with a high street premises and a whole bunch of equipment and appliances and stuff, we've really just naturally become a hub for skill sharing events. So I'm hoping some people have heard of the Big Fix. We've had 4 repair days already where volunteer fixers come in and try and keep things out of landfill by fixing them. It's terrific. We've got our second tool sharpening session on this Saturday, actually. We have drop-in skill sharing sessions for things like, we've got a badge making kit. One of our volunteers ran a session where people could just come in and see how that worked. We've also got a sewing group, which are marvelous and are still figuring out what they want to do. But one of the things they've done is run a coffee bag apron making session, making gorgeous aprons like this out of recycled coffee bags from local coffee roasters. As you can see, the skill sharing is all really focused on sustainability, best practice, making and mending. It's going like gangbusters. We're a little bit overwhelmed and also very, very thrilled. So being overwhelmed, this is where we come in for the volunteers. We're run by our volunteers. Each day that we're open, we have a manager in, but the manager is assisted by our lovely shedders, as we call them. Here they are. Here's some of them. Here's a selection in our apron. And the shedders are with us during the shift to explain the concept to passers-by, because people just assume that we're a charity shop. You'll do a lot of explaining of the sharing economy, but to receive loans back and to issue them out, help people figure out what they're doing with the items that they're borrowing, work the till system. There's tidying, there's always tea making, there's a lot of chat, and with all the events, there's more often something going on than there isn't, and so that involves all sorts of things. So a lot of flexibility. If you've got any sort of special knowledge about any kind of craft or things like that, we are always excited by a clever idea. We understand that it's a big thing to do, to put your hand up and just say, yes, I'll be a volunteer. So we've worked out an onboarding system where if you're keen, you give us a shout on this email here, and we organise for you a couple of what we call taster sessions. So you come along, you don't have to learn the computer system. You put on the apron, you mooch about, and you take part for the day. And after a couple of sessions, see how you feel with it. And at that point, we have a chat and see if this is the right fit for you, or whether there might be something else that might be a good fit for you in the shift. As I say, we love a clever idea. I'm sure more than half of the things that we're currently doing have come from people who have joined as volunteers, done a couple of shifts and said, you know, actually, what I could do, what I could add is something different. The rather handsome gentleman on the right there, that's Steve. He actually made us a cornhole game, which is now in stock. It was something that we couldn't, we didn't have the funds to actually buy, but people had requested it. And now it's very popular. It's going out all the time for summer. On the left, that's Kavita. Kavita's actually our sustainability lead, and she helps keep us on the right path when we're making all sorts of those everyday decisions and the bigger decisions. So yeah, we would love to hear from you. If anybody's got any questions, I'm very keen to hear them.
Thank you, Angela. That was great. So if anyone does have any questions at any point, please do feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll pick those up. But it's great to hear about the project and how much you've expanded. You're not just a library of things, you're doing all these other fantastic things, and so much has happened in such a short space. It's absolutely fantastic.
I know, it's crazy. We did have a 5-year plan, which we thought was overly optimistic. And we're doing it all now, which is just marvelous. But it's a really wonderful time to join the team, because we're always looking for the clever idea and people with like skills to sort of join in.
Yeah, that's great. So if you think this might be something that you're interested in, we've got some taster sessions coming up. So yeah, we can understand, I think, like you said, if you're not quite sure about something, but this gives someone the chance to sort of go along and see what's going on. And it's okay for a volunteering opportunity not to be for you. That's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe you think, actually, this is not quite what I want to do, and that's okay. But hopefully out there is a volunteering opportunity that suits everyone. And that's, yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely thrilled for you, Angela. Thank you so much for sharing about Letchworth Garden Shed.
My
Okay,
pleasure, and sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning.
Okay. Are you okay to stop sharing your presentation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
so that's absolutely fantastic. So if you're interested in that role, the details I think are in the chat, and I'm sure Angela would love to hear from you. Okay, so we are moving on now to our next presenter. I think we have Patricia here from, I don't know if it's KEL or KEL Ministries and Eternity Community CIC. Sorry, that's quite a lot to say. Hello, Patricia. How are you today?
I'm fine, and you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
Do you have a presentation to share, or are you just going to talk?
I have a presentation. Let me see if I'll be able to share it. Oh my God.
Let me.
Can you see me? I've moved. Okay, yes.
I'm just making you a co-host, so you will be able to share a presentation. Okay?
Able to, yes.
So do tell us about your organisation, because you're quite new to the GoVolHerts platform. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that, and let us know about what volunteering roles you have.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, you've got the email about the volunteer fair up there, not the presentation.
Not the presentation. Okay, 1 minute. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing and share again.
Yeah, sometimes it likes you to stop sharing and start again.
Let's see. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, that's great. I'll leave you to it then, Patricia. Thank you.
Yes. Hello. Yes. My name is Patricia, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to share something about KEL Ministries and Eternity Community. And obviously, you can see the two logos there. I've always said that the two are intertwined, because Eternity Community is born out of KEL Gospel Ministry. And the bulk of our volunteer, the bedrock of people that really run the community, they are mostly from the KEL ministry. So that's why I always put the two together. So today I'm going to talk about us a bit, our values, some of our initiatives, volunteering roles, the benefits, and obviously we'll take it from there. So Eternity Community CI is dedicated to creating lasting impact in our community by fostering a social inclusion, support, and empowering. And it was built because we wanted to have the opportunity to support, to be able to reach out to the community more effectively. Some of our values are obviously built on love. Because of our Christian ethos, we always believe that you should love your neighbor. So we take that into the community. and we love to care for people. It doesn't matter what race or where you come from. We obviously like to care for as many people as possible. And collaborations, we like to build connections, liaise with people like we're doing now, reaching out to as many people as possible. And the last one is empowerment. Eternity Community is about empowering people and also making sure that everything, people are empowered to be able to face the future and face challenges in life. So one of the things we do and one of the initiatives that we are putting up this July is the community support program, whereby we are creating awareness, promoting healthy lifestyle, eating, and the well-being. So we're planning to have some workshops, training session aimed at creating awareness, and we've targeted, it's going to start from the 22nd of July, and it will run up to, I think, 11th of August. So for every week, starting from the 22nd, we're going to be taking on different health issues. The first one we've identified is mental health. Then also the second week, we're going to be talking about healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, and well-being activities will be the last one, which we termed total healing. I've got the flyer, but I think I will just put that on maybe later for some, if you can put it up. For Angela, would that be possible? Oh, no, it's not. Whoever will be able to help me share that later. I don't have it on this slide. Another of our initiative is sustainability. So we want to be able to be in a position to promote eco-friendly practices, whereby we want to be able to encourage people and educate people about waste, conservative resources and things. So, and also we have the community events, whereby we host cultural and recreation events. A good one is the Watford Community Family Fun Day, which is coming up on the 17th of August, and you're all invited. That's going to be at the George V playing field, and this definitely this program helps to build community spirit, supporting local businesses, celebrating diversity, educational opportunities, and it will encourage volunteerism. At present, we've got about 50 stores already registered for this, and we've got so many children and people coming, and we've got a lot of entertainment for the day. We've got about 20 entertainers all lined up for this program. So that's the kind of things we do just to engage people, because when people come together in the community, it makes a lot of difference, and you're able to, like the businesses, the charities, and all the different organizations, I'm hoping on that day they will collaborate, they will network, and be able to be in the same environment at the same time. As for the families, they'll be building family ties, and children will have fun. Even me, I'm planning to have fun on the day, maybe, and there'll be a lot of food stuff, diversity. We've got Indian restaurant coming in, we've got the Caribbean, we've got the Sri Lanka, we've got the Korean. So it will be a good opportunity for people to taste different kind of food, and we've got a lot of English food like burgers, chips and things, fish and chips. And so it's really something to really look forward to. Oh, sorry about that, sorry. Also, we've got our career empowerment program. This is going to be coming up in, I think, September. And with that one, is dedicated to helping individuals to attain their career aspirations. And this is really targeted at helping people, to support people to navigate the job market and pursue meaningful employment opportunities. And more than anything, with this, we're planning to focus on the new emerging technology like AI and some of those things, and hoping, because that's my area, I'm an IT consultant by profession, so I know a lot about that, and I do that at work as well. So it's trying to bring it into the mainstream and helping people to navigate that. And we have the Business Professional Breakthrough Conference. Well, this is targeted at making businesses to reach new heights, entrepreneurs. With this, we help people, we help businesses with planning, their marketing strategies, equate different businesses. This is coming up in October. This is like we've got a year full up with so many activities, initiatives. So we really definitely need volunteers. So the kind of volunteering role we need is like, we need workshop facilitators, like the one starting on the 22nd, ending on the 11th. For the mental health area, we need somebody that will be able to present, talk about mental health issues, address it, and we're setting up a panel like on a Saturday for people to come together and discuss that. For the event, which is coming up, the Welford Community Planning Fund Day, we need people that will volunteer on the day to assist and support the event. And we also need admin support from time to time, whereby people that will help with social media, fundraising, even admin, and smooth running of our programs. Because volunteering is like a backbone to everything we do. And obviously, the benefit is personal growth, networking opportunities, and a sense of fulfillment. Because when you volunteer, you know that improving well-being, making a difference to individuals and the community as a whole, and building communities and that's what we are all about. So in conclusion, I would say Eternity Community is more than just an organization. It's a community dedicated to fostering positive change and supporting one another. Our volunteers are essential to our success, and we are always looking for passionate individuals to join us. Whether you are looking to give back, to learn a new skill, make meaningful connection, volunteering with us will help you fulfill your pathway to that. Sorry, I think I've run over with 1 minute. Sorry about that. Thank you. And if you have any questions or any clarification, I don't know.
Thank you, Patricia. That was great, telling us all about what you do. Very interesting. The first 3 organisations we've had this morning have all talked about sort of sustainability and working very closely with your communities, but all in very, very different ways. And if anyone wants to attend your open day as well, I'm sure you'll be glad to see them down there in Watford. So yeah, thank you very much. It's great to see you and hear about your organisation. Thank you for your presentation. Okay.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're always happy to have different organisations here for people to hear about what you're up to and the volunteering opportunities you have to offer. Okay, so Eileen from the NHS has not been able to rejoin us yet, so we will just carry on with the agenda. I think we have Hayley here. Oh, could you stop sharing your screen, please, Patricia, so we can move on to the next one? That's brilliant. Thank you ever so much. We have Hayley here from Herts Domestic Abuse Helpline, I believe.
Hi,
Hayley. There you are in the middle of my screen. Thank you for joining us today. So please, if you could tell us all about your organisation, what you do, and what volunteer roles you have that you would like people to help you out with.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm not going to be using a slideshow. I will just talk away.
That's fine.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hayley. I'm the manager of the Herts Domestic Abuse Helpline. Our charity has been around now for over 20 years. It started off from a local police officer who saw a gap where victims didn't want to call or couldn't call the police, or felt their situation maybe wasn't for the police, but they definitely needed support, and they definitely needed sort of local signposting options. So that's why the helpline was created. 22 years on, we have, I think, 35 volunteer call takers at the moment that I manage, and we take around 2,400 calls a year, plus I'd say about 20 to 30 emails a month on average. So 35 volunteer call takers may sound a lot, but our helpline is open 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. during the week, and 9 till 4 weekends and bank holidays. So we are 365 days a year, evenings and weekends. So even though we have our 35 volunteer call takers, we are always on the lookout for more, because as you are aware, voluntary roles are usually the first sort of thing that has to give when life gets in the way. So to have a sort of big bank of volunteer call takers is always the best thing for us. We are due to do another training session. So we train our call takers up, or new applicants up, twice a year, usually in September and then again in February. And our training consists of 3 weeks of online training, and that can be done at home in your own time. And then it's 2 days face-to-face training, which is usually carried out in the St Albans area. And we talk about the different types of domestic abuse. We talk about the different people that might call our line and why, and what support they will need. We talk about the approaches that our call takers and attributes they need to have to be sort of a compassionate, caring and empathetic call taker. And then we talk our call takers through the system that we use as well, how to link themselves up onto the line, how to take the calls, how to log off, and how to monitor every call and send it in to me so that I can review each call on a daily basis. Domestic abuse is always a tricky subject, and I think for us, sometimes people that maybe haven't experienced it firsthand or are a little bit wary about volunteering for us. But I can honestly say, I've been manager now for 4 years. We save people's lives just by taking that first call. It might be that they are in the middle of a situation, they may need refuge options. It might be that they have fled their home and they're looking for housing, legal options, they want to know their rights. We might have friends and family members calling in, so we might just need to be that sort of listening ear and support for a mum of a daughter that might be going through domestic abuse, or a son. We have lots of professionals call in as well who are worried about colleagues or are working on behalf of a client and need to access sort of local support groups. And we also have perpetrators who recognize that they may need to make some changes in their own behavior, in which case we will sit and we will discuss different options for the caller. The caller is the heart of our service, and we will really take the time to sit and listen to their situation and go through our signposting directory, which has hundreds of local organisations, as well as some national organisations that will be of first-hand support to our callers. With 2 minutes left, what I will say now is that if you are interested in becoming a volunteer call taker, you can find an application form on our website, which is www.hertfordshiredomesticabusehelpline.org. We ask for 2 hours a week minimum, and you can work from home. So all of our call takers log into their systems via their laptops or iPads, and they pick up their calls during their shift. You can have a 2-hour fixed slot every week. So you can decide, okay, I want to do 7 to 9 p.m. every Thursday night. Or we send out a team email, a weekly email on a Monday morning, and that will give the gaps in the rota each week. And you can reply to us and say, oh, I'm free for this hour and that hour. Please put me down on the rota to take calls during that time this week. So we can be really flexible. I think one of the great things is that you don't have to leave your house. You can literally take the calls in the comfort of your own home. I am there as a supervisor to support all call takers, and we provide ongoing training every 6 weeks. We have an online, sometimes face-to-face, but an online team meeting where we discuss calls as a group, talk about local trends, topics, and we often have guest speakers come on as well to sort of help upskill you. So there's lots of learning, lots of upskilling, and it's a really, really worthwhile cause that is, needed, especially in Hertfordshire at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayley. That was a really good introduction to what your organisation does, and a really crucial volunteering role. We all like to feel we volunteer for something and we're making a difference to people, and volunteering for your organisations could literally be life-saving. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah. What more can I say, really? Yeah, I think you've given everyone a great overview, and so if anyone's interested, your next training is starting in soon. So if you want to get involved, that's the sort of time to do it, because this is again a role like some volunteering roles like this, and citizens advice, another example where you need a little bit more training and understanding to be able to help people. But yeah, really, really important roles. Thank you ever so much for joining us today, Hayley, and talking about your organisation.
Thank you. I'll pop our website in the chat as well before I leave, but thank you so much.
I think Tatiana has put the details in there as well,
great.
But please feel free. Okay, thank you ever so much again. Okay, it's now just after 1 o'clock, so we're about halfway through, and Anne Horsham is here from Friends of Welwyn Care Homes, hopefully to tell us all about what goes on down there in Welwyn and what volunteering roles they've got. Hi Anne, there you are. Can you unmute yourself?
Also, am I able to share?
Yeah, let me see, where are you? Oh, let me just let someone else in. There you are. Sorry, I muted you accidentally. I'll make you a co-host, and then you should be able to share your screen with us. Okay.
Thank you. It's just I've put the stuff up behind me, but it's not exactly very easy to see. I might try and share. We are Friends of Welwyn Care Homes. We do what it says on the tin. Try and, whoops. Let me see, here we are, share. Right, it's still not wonderful, but there we are. You can see it a bit better. I've got a lot of shine. We started about 2011, and we are not a charity, but we're registered with the Council Voluntary Service. We have currently visit 4 care homes in Welwyn Garden, and if we had more volunteers, there are 2 more homes we could take on. We had quite a lot of volunteers before COVID, but a lot of our volunteers are elderly or retired people, and I'm afraid that, of course, diminished a bit over the years of COVID. So we are Friends of Welwyn Care Homes. We are, bringing the local care homes into the community and the community into the care homes by building friendly relationships with residents and staff. And this is our motto: friendship, companionship, and laughter, which you can see is coming out of the steam of the 2 mugs, because a large part of our effort is really tea parties, coffee mornings, having chats and building relationships with the residents. And at some of these tea parties or coffee mornings, there might be a sing-song, there might be a quiz, but often it's just chat. At one care home in particular, we are particularly appreciated to be volunteers who go in to room-bound residents, people who are not able or don't wish to join in the many activities that the care home has. Over the years, I've noticed that, in fact, the range, frequency and quality of the activities that are given by the care home staff have actually improved a great deal. And really, our focus needs to be on helping to draw people in. We have a very minimalist training program. We like everybody to become a dementia friend, either a session that we run or a session run by someone else. And then we take our volunteers through a session which includes things that you have to have, like safeguarding, health and safety. One of the things you have to teach volunteers is not to try and be too helpful to residents in case they get it wrong. And equality and diversity, which seemed a bit of a heavy mouthful for us. But when you're dealing with a group of people, some of whom are very conversational and very cognitively able, and others who are much further on the road to dementia, you have to be aware and alert as to who needs drawing in, who needs attention, who needs a bit of one-to-one chat, who is feeling left out. And these are the kinds of things that we cover in our second training session. We find it rewarding. We do roughly fortnightly or monthly visits, but it is up to what any person can do. Generally, we are visiting as a team, so nobody's on their own. And our teams are very diverse in themselves. They're too small at the moment, and we could do with more teams so that we could actually cover all the 6 local care homes fortnightly rather than 4 of them, some fortnightly and some monthly. I'm trying to think what else I really need to say to you about it. It is simply about friendship. It's not rocket science. It requires an openness to people, a friendly outlook, a willingness to see a bit beyond what's presented to you. One of the things that comes out in Dementia Friends training is the idea that if you've met one person with your dementia, you've only met one person with dementia. Everybody who's elderly and everybody who's on a dementia journey is an individual and remains an individual throughout the time, no matter how severely they are affected. And that's one of the things we want our volunteers to understand, and we want them to act that out in the relationships in the care homes. One of our early experiences was a tea party at a home where we still go to, and a lady was brought in to join us and sat down and spent the whole time saying, "I don't know why I'm here. Are we all mad? I don't know why I'm here." And at the end, her carer came to escort her off to lunch, and she said to the carer, "I really enjoyed that." So it's really quite difficult to know whether people are really being difficult or only enjoying things in their own way. And again, being open, friendly, and accepting is the main thing that we can offer. I don't think I have an awful lot more to say about this. As I say, all we want is friendly people who are willing to make a step, to join a team, to come and see what we do and whether it's for them. And I'd be glad to see and talk to anybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Anne. That was a lovely presentation. So quite a flexible role in some ways, that you're not having to commit a huge amount of time, which sometimes is difficult for people, but you can really make a difference to some of these people. And it's not also something where you're not going on your own, you've got a little team to go with. So if you're not feeling very confident, hopefully the other team members can help you get stuck in and then feel more comfortable talking to people. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, a lot of us will have had a family with dementia who have been in care homes, and even the best care home, they can't give them perhaps the same attention all the time that you might like. So having volunteers go in to visit people really does make a massive difference to people's lives, and you know, keeps them healthier and engaged for longer, I think.
I think
There's
that's
something that certainly that the people you are helping will get out. So it would be absolutely brilliant if we could get some volunteers for you, and you can do some more visits and some more care homes. I'm sure that would be really appreciated.
it is, and you can see that people do look forward to our visits. The ones who are more cognitively adept really do see us as friends.
Yeah.
And even those who you think, well, you know, they're not really very with what's going on, you still get great recognition.
Yeah, you can't always tell what's going on in someone else's head.
So you have
Yeah.
to
So it's absolutely brilliant. So we've put the details in the chat if that's a role that you think you would be interested in. Anne and the team would love to hear from you. And I'm sure some people will be looking forward to some visits in some care homes in the Welwyn area.
Right, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Anne. Take care. Okay. Our next organisation today, we have Annette, who's from the Scouts, I think from the Scouts in the St Albans area, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going from some older people to some younger people. So Annette, I'm sure we've all heard of the Scouts, but can you tell us a little bit more about the organisation, what exactly you get up to, and of course, what volunteers you're looking for?
Yeah. Right, well, I have got some slides, but I usually like to wing it, but got some slides. I think everybody has heard of the Scouts. You know, we are now, you know, well over 100 years old. But I guess one of the things it'd be nice to do is to let people know how the Scouts are fit for the 21st century and for the young people of today. And what I'm going to tell you is about Scouts in St Albans, but it could equally be applied to any area in Hertfordshire, indeed any area across the UK. We are a national organisation, and so, you know, we're looking for volunteers across the board in every county, every district, and every region in the UK. So we believe that we should prepare young people with the skills they need for life, as well as bring communities together and help them to contribute to society and build better futures for them. So there are over 2,000 young people just in St Albans enjoying scouting at the moment, helped by 600 volunteers. But across the UK, there are 500,000 young people enjoying Scouts. And we've got massive waiting lists. We are really popular. We are the biggest youth organisation. And so, you know, we're constantly looking for help to make sure that we reach every single young person that wants to join us. So we help young people with their personal development, and as well as making a positive contribution to society. We've all you know, we're all very aware that Scouts do community projects, but we also develop those young people so that they're ready to go out to the world of work, to university, college, whatever their next steps are. And we've had some bit of independent research done to prove that we're actually doing this. So those that are in Scouts build greater social cohesion in their communities. They become more resilient. Our Scouts aged 50, if they have been in Scouts as a young person, are less likely to suffer from mental health issues. and are more likely to volunteer in their communities as adults. They tend to participate more in the community, and all of that builds and improved communities and societies across the board. So we do everything. I'm going to give you a flavour of the sort of things that our young people get up to, along with their volunteers. We like to think of ourselves as a family. Our adult volunteers get stuck in with our volunteers and have a lot of fun doing a lot of the activities that our young people enjoy. And some of them find their inner child again, whilst leading the young people in the activities. So a little bit about the scouting family. Scouts are split up into now 6 what we call sections, depending on the age group of the young person. We've got a very new section called Squirrel Scouts in their distinctive red tops for 4 and 5-year-olds. And then a young person can remain a member of Scouts, and indeed has a place in all of the sections progressing through, right up until they're 25. Our network Scouts get together in either weekly or monthly, but more intensively during the school, college or university holidays, to meet up as groups of young people and enjoy the scouting activities that they wish to do as a group. Our adult volunteers are also part of that family. And we have section teams who run those sections, but equally we have very flexible roles, people who want to share their skills in a particular activity, and that might be, you know, canoeing or backwoods cooking, but equally it might be photography, it might be computing, it might be gardening, it can be any sort of activity. We also, of course, need our trustees. We have fundraising. We have a lot of administration that goes on behind the scenes to manage all these young people's records, volunteer records. And we also manage quite a lot of buildings across Hertfordshire, which we manage on behalf of the community. So renting out those buildings to community groups, but as well as maintaining them for our Scout sections to use. So there's all sorts of volunteer roles, which perhaps people don't initially think of as being part of the Scout family. So as I said, this new section, Squirrel Scouts, is a really new initiative in Scouts, and it was started because it suggests that the earlier you start a young person in non-formal education, the more positive impact you can have. So one of the things that we're trying to do is to start up squirrel drays, as they're called, groups of squirrels for these 4 and 5-year-olds across the UK. We've got massive waiting lists for young people wanting to join squirrels, but we just cannot meet the demand at the moment. So in the 21st century, what do Scouts do? Well, they do the traditional Scouty things, camping, backwoods cooking, outdoor activities, but there's lots of other stuff that we do that you might not be aware of. All sorts of different sports, community projects with other charities, technology know-how, first aid, personal safety, well-being, cooking, crafts, performing arts. We put on what we call gang shows, which are variety shows, helped by professional technicians from the West End that come and help our young people express their interest in the performing arts. We do environmental projects, teaming up with other charities and organisations to make a difference in our environment. In fact, it would be easier to list what they don't do. So, as I said, we want to prepare more young people with these skills for life, and obviously supported by amazing volunteers. Currently, in St Albans, we have 1,000 young people waiting to join Scouts. And this is the same picture across every area in the UK. The major reason why they can't join is a lack of volunteers. So if you're thinking that you know, you can't volunteer in Scouts because perhaps, you know, I'm not Bear Grylls, I can't do all that sort of adventurous stuff, or I've only got a certain amount of time, or I can only volunteer from home, or I can only volunteer once a year. You know, we've got a role for you. We've literally got such an array of roles that we can pretty much accommodate anybody's working patterns and their interests and hobbies. So what are the outcomes for the young people? Well, adventure. Obviously, they enjoy being adventurous, doing all these adventurous activities. They learn skills for life. They learn leadership, citizenship, connectedness. And our adult volunteers benefit from this as well. Through our adult support networks, they can, we have adult-only events, adult social events, and also support within our adult networks for things like employability and just general social support. We partner with businesses. We're very fortunate to partner with Rolls-Royce, Raspberry Pi, Go Outdoors, HSBC, to name but a few, as well as organisations such as universities, educational authorities, colleges, to help the Scouts to prepare them for employment and further education. We help them write CVs, college applications, all of that, using their experiences in Scouts to bolster their academic achievements. And we also work with programmes like the National Citizen Service and the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, so that our young people can benefit from doing those awards. And this lovely picture here just kind of sums up our adult volunteers. You can see one of our adult volunteers there. He's joining in with the Scouts and having just as much fun as they are, getting absolutely soaked and having a whale of a time. Some may not think that Scouts is for them. Scouts is open to girls and boys, those of any religion. We support young people with disabilities to take part in Scouts, and we discreetly have help for young people who might not have the funds to join us. Our volunteers are from many different backgrounds, and we welcome LGBTQ+ individuals. And by doing that, our young people are experiencing communities, backgrounds, building relationships with a whole variety of people. So we're truly inclusive. And our young people get to meet people they wouldn't normally meet in school. So I've got a little video for you. I'm hoping this is going to work. So I'm going to stop sharing on that screen and share with another screen and just let you hear what some of our young people say about Scouting. So I'm hoping this is going to work.
Scouting to me is getting opportunities and learning new things.
It's really fun and exciting. You get to do lots of activities and be on badges.
I mean, every single session you're learning something new. It's like skills for life.
We're having fun at the same time we're still learning.
The Scouts include everyone and show people how to have a great time.
Theo's Down syndrome wasn't a barrier at all. Theo needs the opportunities to try things that he wouldn't normally try.
I like cooking, building campfires and games. Dice ball.
They just have so much fun. I would recommend it to any child.
So I think it's just given me a lot of confidence to be myself. And it's why we do scouting, because we enjoy it and it's liberating and it lets us be who we want to be. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's what our young people have to say about scouting. Hopefully you can hear that, you know, those young people are getting so much out of being in Scouts. So if you are interested in becoming part of our family, putting your skills to use or learning new ones, we'd love to get you on board. As I said, no previous skills are necessary, just a willingness to get stuck in, allow us to take a criminal record check, and, you know, give those young people the adventure, the skills, and discover what being part of a worldwide family is really like. And it can be as rewarding for our volunteers as it is for our young people.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Annette.
I wanted to find out, Annette, if I wanted to reach out to you because the Family Fun Day would be a very good place for the Scouts. So I would like to reach out to you so I can collaborate with you to see how we can.
Do you want to email us some details, Patricia, and then we can perhaps pass them on rather than discussing it in the volunteer fair now? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Who do I email it to? You or
if
Annette?
you sent it to us at GoVolHerts, we can pass that on. That's fine.
Okay, yes.
Okay,
please.
yeah, so again, thank you very much for that presentation, Annette. Those children certainly be having an awful lot of fun there, and it's just amazing the amount of stuff you could cover. So if someone's got skills in almost anything, then the Scouts could put that to good use. So Annette is from the St Albans area, and you've seen how many people are waiting to join. Just need some more volunteers. If you're in another area, I'm sure either GoVolHerts or Annette, we can try and point you in the right direction, because I'm sure there's a local Scouts group that would be absolutely thrilled to hear from you.
Yeah,
so.
I have to say, it doesn't matter where you go in the country, you are near a Scout group. They're very, very local, but you can volunteer remotely as well. As I said, you know, you don't have to, we don't ask for any particular amount of time, you know, or any location. It's really, really flexible.
Yeah, and that suits a lot of people, so that's great as well. Okay, thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on now from the Scouts to Isabel Hospice. We have Jessica here from that organisation. Hi,
hello.
Jessica.
I'm going to share my screen, hopefully.
Yep. She's going to tell us about what Isabel Hospice do and what volunteers they're looking for at the moment.
Can you guys see?
Yeah, I can see that.
Fabulous, fabulous. So yes, obviously I've been here for about a month, so I'm going to explain a bit about our lovely charity. So Isabel Hospice has been providing free palliative care to patients and families since 1982. So in 1982, Welwyn and Hatfield services were established by Isabel last, who was a former nurse living with cancer. We provide support to people in kind of Eastern Hertfordshire who are affected by lifetime illnesses through our hospice at home. So that's our inpatient unit, community team, Living Well, Isabel programme, and the family and bereavement support services. Our clinical teams work very closely with hospitals, GPs, surgeries, and improving access to our services. Now, we are very fortunate because we have around about 600 lovely volunteers. And without these volunteers, we wouldn't be able to provide the care that we do. So today, I'm really going to be speaking about the needs that we have in retail. So first of all, I want to say, why is volunteering good for you? So there's some kind of things on here. We get to make new friends, sense of purpose, building and confidence, skill development, tangible impact, helping to raise money, So like I said, you've got some amazing charities on here today, and this is a way that you can do some good. So I'll just go through our departments at the moment. So we have our inpatient unit. Our inpatient unit is around about 14 beds where we go to look after people that just need a bit more help or maybe reaching the end of their life. We have the family support, eBay, marketing, head office, hospice at home, compassionate neighbours, our donation centre, marketing, living well, and our charity shops. Now, our charity shops are the one that we are really in need for at the moment. We have a lot of charity shops across Eastern Hertfordshire, and we have some in Bishop Stortford, Cheshunt, Hatfield, Welwyn Garden City, Buntingford, Sawbridge, Hoddesdon, Ware, and all over the place. So our volunteering needs at the moment. So like I said, we're mainly focusing on retail, but we have a lot in the kind of the inpatient unit, our compassionate neighbours, which we'll get on in a minute, family support, fundraising, and events. So I want to share a kind of a volunteer kind of community thing that we're going to be happening in the next few weeks. This is something that I'll be hosting. Might bake a cake, I don't know yet at the moment. And we'll kind of just be a drop-in session to kind of find out a bit more about us, and kind of just find out what we can do for everyone. Oh, come back. I'll go back. There. Hold on a second. Oops. I have managed to go on that. What have I done? I've managed to press up my PowerPoint.
Okay, sometimes it wants you to stop it and start it again.
I will just read it out.
It happens to the best of us, don't worry, Jessica.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously our community, our volunteering community is a drop-in session, which is just a fantastic way to kind of find out a bit more about us. We'll have volunteers speaking there, so you can find out a bit more information about us. So what can we offer to our volunteers? So we can offer some flexibility. So we're really looking for people in our retail stores, our shops, and so that people can come in and meet and greet the customers. We can give you kind of training as well to kind of update your kind of confidence. We also do kind of long service awards as well. We also have an expense policy. So if you're a bit further away and you need some help with travel, we can also help with that. And during Volunteer Week, we kind of do an annual week-long celebration, which just happened very recently when I just started, which was a lovely tea party. And it's just to say thank you to our volunteers, because without them, Isabel Hospice, like I said, wouldn't be able to really run without our lovely volunteers. So some of our current volunteer vacancies, I'm going to see if I can share my screen again. There we go. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that, yeah.
Some of our current volunteer vacancies. So we have the IPU hospitality. So you can come and work alongside the clinical and catering team in the IPU unit, providing support to the patients and families. We also have complementary therapists, which you can come in and provide complementary therapy for like massages, aromatherapy. You do need to be qualified with that, but we can also see if something we can do to help you train up on that if that's something you're interested in. And also compassionate neighbours. So this is just providing support to people that are going through a bit of a tough time. This is kind of very kind of good for pivotal fostering community connections, reducing loneliness and promoting a supportive and caring environment. So obviously I'm going to talk about our retail volunteers. So we're looking for mainly kind of people to come into our stores. So for lunchtime cover, we need to fill more than 100 of sessions, so half day a week. And like I said, there might be an opportunity near you at the moment for one of our stores. These are the kind of the main areas we're needing volunteers. So in our Bishop Stortford area, our Haldens, our Hatfield area, our Waltham Cross, Ware, we just recently opened a shop up in Hoddesdon, which will be opening very soon. And we'll be looking for volunteers to come in that day to kind of like I said, meet and greet. We don't need to. You can require flexibility, so you can do it when you want, whenever you want. So yeah. And I also do have a lovely video to play. And seeing how much live show goes, I really hope this does play as well.
Isabel Hospice wouldn't be here without our volunteers, who are always there to greet you with a smile or bring touches of home to the hospice, keeping our patients living well. And supporting families in their greatest time of need, who always give a warm welcome and work to save tons from ending up in landfill. Our volunteers bring our shops to life and support our sustainable space online. They are our ambassadors that bring joy to our community. Ensure every supporter is cared for and that all our operations run smoothly. They create the magic in the details and see the bigger picture to keep us moving forward. And never forgetting those who just help brighten our day. Volunteers are the heart of what we do. Together, we are Isabel Hospice. Together, we care.
Right, so as you can see, that's basically what we're looking for at the moment. So we have numerous roles, but we really are focusing on retail at the moment, just because this is where we get our money from, is the retail side of things. Obviously, we have our hospitality stuff as well, and our compassionate neighbours. But we want to say always a big thank to all the lovely volunteers that do volunteer with us, and hopefully we get some more soon.
That's great. Thank you, Jessica. That was a really lovely video. Really gave an idea of all the roles you have and your happy looking volunteers, and especially the dog. Everyone loves an animal.
Yeah, the dog unfortunately has just left us. He's gone to live elsewhere. Hopefully we'll be replacing that lovely dog soon. But yes, if you do come down and visit us, pop in. Hopefully there'll be a dog as well.
That's great. We've put the link to Isabel Hospice in the chat, and I've just put a link to your upcoming event that you had up on the screen briefly. So if anyone wants to go along to that or fancies volunteering, that's a great place to start. So do get in touch. I'm sure Jessica will be thrilled to hear from you. Okay, we're nearing the, we've got a couple more organisations to go now. So next up we have Gemma from Sue Ryder. Hi Gemma. Tell us about what Sue Ryder do and tell us about the volunteering opportunities that you're looking to recruit volunteers to at the moment.
Hiya.
Hi.
Okay, let's see if I can share my screen too. Oh, it's saying I can't share my screen.
Hold on. Sorry, I've done it. I've muted you accidentally again. I'm trying to make you a co-host. Yeah, so if you unmute yourself, sorry, that was me. The buttons are next to each other.
Okay.
Should allow you to share your screen now, though.
Oh, it's saying it's not. Not yet, anyway.
I'll try it again. Yes, hopefully.
Ah, there we are.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm hoping you can see that now.
Yeah, I can see that. That's great.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm Gemma. I'm the volunteer coordinator for Sue Ryder. Yeah, and I cover quite a wide area in Hertfordshire as part of that. Today, I'm mainly talking about Welwyn and Hemel Hempstead. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what Sue Ryder does initially. We are a national charity, but we're local in most counties. Okay, so who are Sue Ryder and what do we do? We're a hospice and bereavement support charity, if we're really going to narrow it down. We have 7 hospices. Our nearest one would be, or nearest one to Hertfordshire would be St John's, and that's in Bedford. And then a little bit further on, we have Thorpe Hall in Peterborough, and we also have our Duchess of Kent Hospice in Reading, but we also have a few more throughout the UK too. It costs about 50 million roughly to run our services each year, and a big chunk of that funding comes from our shops, which helps raise the money essentially. But also throughout the UK, we also have grief kind spaces, and they're places where people can go wherever they live. It's always somewhere local in every town, where they can get together and kind of offer peer-to-peer support facilitated by one of our coordinators to help with the grieving process. We also offer online one-to-one counselling sessions, which is slightly better than the NHS and free to people who self-refer themselves to us as well. We also have bereavement support online through our online forum and text message service as well. And that's all provided completely free, including the hospices, when people are referred to us. Okay, so volunteering with us. We rely massively on volunteers to help us raise the funds that we need. And at the moment, we really do need volunteers to help us in our Welwyn store and also in our Hemel Hempstead store. We are completely flexible and open to what volunteers can offer us. We appreciate that there's a big demand on people's time at the moment, especially with the cost of living. People often have jobs and they can only maybe spare 2 hours a week or just an hour every 2 weeks. So yeah, we appreciate that. We do ask that you commit to a regular amount of time. So if it is 2 hours, try and commit 2 hours a week. And that way, when we train you on something, it kind of embeds and you remember that from week to week, and then you can build on that. The roles that we're looking for at the moment are people to help us serve on the tills, to help customer service roles by helping people when they bring their lovely donations in to us, or helping them understand what gift aid is, sorting our donations and putting them on display in our shops. Our volunteers are amazingly creative and they've created amazing displays and features in our shop. So if you like dressing windows, we want you. If you're artistic, creative, we want you. If you're business minded, we want you. Essentially, there's a role to fit everybody. We also have a new role that we're trying to expand on. We call it our brand ambassador role. And this is for anyone who is social, chatty, and doesn't mind meeting new people and talking to those people and striking up a conversation. The role is, it's officially brand ambassador. So we will train you on everything to do with Sue Ryder and what we offer. So it's everything from what our online bereavement support is, what our counselling is. It's knowing all about what happens in our hospices, and that could be it could be therapy sessions, it could be befrienders. We also have befrienders. It could be about our grief kind spaces. It's given that volunteer within our shops all that information about what Sue Ryder does, not just in the hospices, but also to people who are bereaved, so that they can spread the word a little bit more, because Sue Ryder, the name itself, doesn't fully explain what we do. So we'd love to have more people who are chatty on our shop floors, having those conversations with people and letting them know that it's not just about shopping in our stores, but it's also about if our services can help you, we want to make you aware of them so that more people can use our services too. Okay, so the benefits of volunteering with us. You'll receive full training, ongoing support. We also like to promote from within. So a lot of our staff came from a volunteering background, basically because they're brilliant advocates of us because they were already volunteering with us. We do cover travel expenses when you volunteer with us, whether it be by car or train or bus, or you just need to cover your parking for the day. We absolutely do that. It will never cost you to volunteer with us. We do offer ongoing training and support. We recently did a survey where volunteers said they wanted an opportunity to be able to meet other volunteers, because sometimes you can be kind of confined within that retail space that you're in, and they wanted to be able to meet other groups. So we offer that. So if you would like to meet or volunteer in another shop, a location, or one of our healthcare centres, you absolutely can, and we'll facilitate that. So you can make those networks and build on that. We offer a friendly and supportive team. Again, a lot of our shop managers, our sales managers, come from a volunteering background or worked within one of our shops before. So if we can support, we absolutely will. Let us know what you would like to achieve. If you would like to work in management, brilliant. Tell us on day one, and we will show you from the off how you can get that experience to help you within your life too. We definitely want to help people get that work experience. What I will also say as well is that we are fully inclusive and like to promote our roles to everybody. So if you have a disability, a learning disability, you're welcome. You're more than welcome to come in, and we will try and support you into a role that suits you. We can do a risk assessment and find out what we need to be able to help you to do a role with us. So don't let that be a barrier to joining us. We want you to. Okay, so the shops that we do need support with is Welwyn. So that location is just opposite where the main college is there. It's about a 3-minute walk around the corner, kind of near John Lewis. There is parking available. And also Hemel Hempstead, it's in the town centre. It's kind of near the job centre, but it's in the Marlow shopping centre. So Hemel Hempstead is a new location. It's been open about 6-7 months now. And that's there in the bottom left picture on that side. And we're really looking to build our team there. So we have about 5 volunteers at the moment who are permanent, and we're looking to build that to hopefully a group of 10, 15 if we're lucky. So please do either come down to the shop or come to our website and speak to us. When you join us, it's a really kind of relaxed atmosphere. So when you get in touch, if you go via the QR code, I will probably ring you back and have a chat with you. Or if you come through the website, we will invite you down to the shop at a time that's convenient to you. And we do what's called a taster session, where you meet the team, you see the workings behind the scene. And then you do like a practical session where you actually get involved, where it's serving a customer, sorting donations, or being on the shop floor, doing a window display, something like that. So you get a feel from day one what it's like and if it's for you. There's no commitment. If you love it, fantastic. You join us and sort of time to carry on volunteering with us. If you don't, that's okay too. Retail isn't for everyone. We understand that. And maybe there's another role outside of our retail units that will suit you as well, in the community or in our healthcare centres. It's up to you. But we're more than happy to have volunteers, and we would love for you to join us as well. Welwyn Garden City is also looking for volunteers. It's been running a number of years, but it is city centre. So there is a tend to kind of build people to get that experience, and then they move on, which is brilliant, but does mean we need more people more regularly than, say, our rural locations. So definitely get in touch and we'll train you up, and yeah, hopefully you have a good time. I myself was a shop manager with Sue Ryder, and what I will say is, I'm going to say unique to us, is that our locations tend to create like a community and a friendship group and kind of support systems, in that we become really great friends when we volunteer day in, day out with each other. So if you're looking for to be more social and get a more active social life, definitely come with us. If you're looking for work experience, again, come with us. Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure we can find something to help you, which also brilliantly benefits us and the people who need our services. So yeah, get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gemma. That's great to hear about. Like you say, you called Sue Ryder. We've all heard of you, but not a lot of people might not really understand what you do. So having a brand ambassador, that's a really great idea. So anyone out there who fancies any of those roles sort of thing with Sue Ryder, or has any other idea how maybe they can help out, do get in touch. We've put the links again in the chat. So that's that. Now on to our final presentation of the day. Unfortunately, our first presenter, Eileen, has been unable to join us. She was having technical problems. So I'll just take a moment actually before we move on to our last presenter. So Eileen was from Central London Community Healthcare NHS Trust, which is always a fun one for me to try and say. So they just briefly, they provide health services to over 2 million people across London and into Hertfordshire, in hospitals, local clinics, and at home, trying to help them stay well and manage their health. So the volunteering role that they currently have on GoVolHerts, that hopefully Tatiana will post for you in the chat, the link to that. They're looking for ward befriender volunteers. So people really to go in, visit people who are in hospital, because being in hospital is not fun, because you're there because you're not well, you've had an operation, something like that. And I'm sure most people will have family and friends who will go in and visit them, but some people won't have many family and friends near to them, or perhaps they just haven't got the time. Perhaps someone else is going to have to pick up looking after the parents or the children or something like that. So volunteers going in can really brighten someone's day, and that's a really, hopefully for you, that might be a really nice feeling that you've made someone's day and help them on the road to recovery by raising their spirits, because we know mental health and how we feel does play a part in recovery. We hear about that if people are feeling positive, hopefully they might get better quicker. It seems logical, really, doesn't it? So that's the role that they have. They've got locations in Langley House in Hertfordshire, Potters Bar Community Hospital, and in Hemel Hempstead. So if you are interested in that sort of role, please do have a look on the GoVolHerts website and get in touch, because I'm sure Eileen would love to hear from you. So that's just very, very briefly, that's the role that we would have heard about earlier, but unfortunately Eileen had some very bad technical problems and her computer's died on her. So hopefully she'll be all sorted soon. But anyway, we're going to move on now to our final presenter of this session, and Claire is here from Hertfordshire Health Walks to tell us all about what they do and how you can volunteer for them. Hi Claire, can you unmute yourself? I still can't hear you, Claire. You're not muted, but I can't hear you, and I don't know why. I presume no one else can hear either. No, okay.
No, maybe you can you hear us, Claire? Maybe you can disconnect your phone or your audio and try to connect again. Thank you.
The gods of technology are not with us today, I think. I do know that Hertfordshire Health Walks are operate across Hertfordshire, doing sort of what it says on the tin. They're funded by Hertfordshire County Council, and they have walks across Hertfordshire to try and help people improve their health. Walks of different levels. So if you feel like you need a bit of exercise and you haven't had a lot lately, there'll be sort of level 1 or lower level walks that you could join. And if you want a jolly good hike of a couple of miles with some like-minded people and don't mind scrambling over stiles, then they've also got something there to suit you. So this is something that people can participate in. Obviously they're also looking for volunteers to help lead the walks, make sure everyone's happy and comfortable. I'm sure Claire will explain this much better than I do, but just to give you a slight overview of what happens while she tries to rejoin us, and hopefully we get some sound. Yeah, so as I said, it's something that they're looking for volunteers all across Hertfordshire who would help lead the walks. So someone to lead from the front and someone to round them up from the back to make sure no one gets lost. And different levels of walk all across Hertfordshire. So a really great project trying to make sure people are healthy and stay healthy, of course, into older age. I think a lot of the people are perhaps retired. Hi there, Claire. Have we got sound now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I've just been saying a few words about the project, but I'm sure you'll explain it much better than I can.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you standing in like that. I don't know what happened. I think something, anyway, anyway, it was in my connection. So I have not done a PowerPoint presentation. So I thought I would just kind of quickly tell you a little bit about Health Walks, which is kind of, we do what we say on the tin. I'm the project coordinator and the volunteer coordinator for the Health Walk scheme, which is part of County Council. But walks are all delivered by, we have about 260 volunteers across the county, and we have 100 different walking opportunities that are currently advertised on our website. Okay, so we are looking for people who love to walk and talk, and people who want to share this joy with other people. And in the role of Health Walks volunteer, you will help support existing walks using walking routes that have been tried and tested and have been risk assessed. Okay. So the experience is really rewarding, and it benefits your health as well as the health of other people who come on your walk. Okay, so again, very quickly, what are Health Walks? It's a county-wide program of free group walks, and it's aimed at trying to encourage people from all ages and all abilities to get outdoors and more active and experience the significant physical and mental health benefits of being a little bit more active. As I said, we've got 100 different walking opportunities. The walks range from a 30-minute walk to a 90-minute Ramblers style walk. Those are considered our progression walks. And our walks are very popular. And some of the longer walks have 20, 25 people coming along and taking part. So for example, in the last quarter, between the start of April and the end of June, we had 8,760 attendances, or what the leisure centers call throughput. And almost 900 walks were delivered. Okay, so there's plenty of opportunities for people to get involved and support a walk that is close to where they live. The majority of our walkers are between the ages of 55 and 74. And also, interestingly, our most recent data said that 90% of our walkers have some type of long-term health condition, whether that's high blood pressure, arthritis, maybe back pain, or maybe they're a bit overweight, or maybe even low-level anxiety. So we are really, and seem to be succeeding in reaching people who are in poorer health and want to gradually get back into being a bit more active. So our volunteers are people who have who support people who have more difficulties than others in participating in physical activity. Okay, so there are several roles available. You don't have to be a leader of the walk. You can be leading from the back, so like a back marker. You could also be a walk support. So in these walks that have 20, 30 people, we usually have a volunteer in the middle of the group. to kind of keep the two groups connected, because sometimes they get a bit spread out. So you have a walk supporter, you have a meter and greeter, and then you have a walking buddy. So there's all sorts of different roles. No experience is necessary. You don't have to be a long distance walker to take part. In fact, we welcome people who are overcoming their own physical and mental health challenges. And the walkers can be motivated by your story and your experiences of getting active or coming back into activity. So what we expect is from our volunteers, once you've gone through our training, is a commitment to turn up regardless of the weather. So rain or shine. Of course, if it's a hurricane or really slippery outside, the volunteers would decide to cancel the walk, or we would take that across the board. National weather emergency, we would say all walks are canceled. So, but we are especially looking for people to support our 30-minute entry-level walks, which are ideal for people who are recovering from injury or illness, or experienced walkers who are slowing down a little bit. We are keen to increase the volunteer teams in Potter's Bar, Stevenage, Watford, and St. Albans. So if you know of anyone if you are interested in those areas, you live in those areas, please get in touch. Volunteering, as I think a lot of you have said in the past, it's flexible. There's no expectation of a time commitment. You can volunteer once a month for 2 hours or once a week for 2 hours. It's completely up to you. Our next training workshop for volunteers, so this is like an orientation on the role of a health walk volunteer. That volunteer training is on the 25th of September in Potter's Bar in the local library. And we would we'd cover your travel expenses to get there. And that is about a 4-hour training from, say, 10 o'clock until about 2 o'clock. What else can I tell you? So once people complete that classroom training, we then ask that you do a practical training. So you would shadow an experienced walk leader. You might shadow an experienced back marker. And then we would ask, once you gain some confidence, we would ask that you co-lead a walk. Once you've done that, you submit what we call a progress card to myself, and then you become a fully fledged volunteer leader. Okay. And when that happens, you then get all our branded kit. It's sort of like our uniform. You get a high vis jacket, you get a polo shirt, you get the Health Walks backpack, you get a whistle, you get a baseball hat. So it's all about becoming a part of this great team across the county. And then once you join, you may identify certain walks in your close to where you live that you want to support on a regular basis, and you'll get to know all the other volunteers there. What else can I tell you? Again, as I said, this isn't about you setting up a walk alone. We are looking for volunteers to support existing walks with routes that have been tried and tested, and you would just be asked, obviously, to get familiar with those routes. So if you're interested, if that sounds exciting to you, walking and talking and helping other people getting more active, then come talk to me, email me. You can reach me. You can reach our email on healthwalks.cms@hertfordshire.gov.uk, or you can call me or call and speak to one of the members of the team on 01992 555 888. And it would be great if all of you on the call, if some of your client group would be interested in coming on a walk, you can just drop by on the day. You know, some of the befrienders or the compassionate neighbors from the hospice, you know, if they're looking for something to do, you know, come join a walk. They're very chatty, sociable walks, and they go, you know, at a pace that is suitable for the group. So, anyone have any questions?
That's great. Thank you, Claire. So yeah, really great get out walking an activity that most accessible to most people. We appreciate not everyone, but it's really good for people's physical health. It's good for their mental health, and you get to socialize and meet some new people. So if you want to participate in that, or if you want to volunteer, it's absolutely great initiative. So yeah, great to have you on board here, Claire. Thank you very much. Tatiana has posted those details in the chat as well.
You. Appreciate that.
So yeah, please do feel free to get in contact. So that is the end of the volunteering fair for today. We have heard from 9 fantastic organisations, and I did give you a few details on the 10th, who unfortunately had technical issues. Unfortunately, that's life. So hopefully everyone found it really interesting. Maybe you found a volunteering role that suited you. If not, please go to the GoVolHerts website and have a little search, because I'm sure there is something out there that will work for you. But we've had such a sort of breadth of different volunteering roles, even within the same organisation, that there's so much that you could potentially do. And a lot of organisations, especially larger organisations, they might not have a volunteering role up that is quite sitting with you. But if you have a suggestion or an idea, or you have a particular skill set, it can be worth getting in touch with them. If there's someone you really want to support, say, I could do this. It might not be something they'd thought of or thought they could get a volunteer to do, but it might really work out very well. So it's always worth asking, I think. But anyway, thank you again for joining us. We hope to see you at the next GoVolHerts volunteering fair, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.